Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now on Facebook? Hello, hello? No, no. I never had a problem with. Oh, yes. You can hear Facebook. Okay. All right, cool. Can everybody hear? You would think, I would think anyway, that, don't you usually get better at things when you do them more frequently? Huh? Anyway, you can hear me. Great. Okay, cool. It's good on YouTube. Yay. All right. Fantastic. Thank you. And of course, anyways, we're on. We're on. And we're on. Okay, cool. Anyway, as you all know, we've started the groups, and I listen. I don't know. I don't know how we're starting it. I don't know what's. I don't know. Uh, I think they're all started now, right? People are getting into the groups. There's 3 groups. In fact, tomorrow is the first uh, uh, Zoom private Zoom we're going to have with the health and healing group, right? So if those of you who are on that, or if you're on any of the other groups higher than that, you'll automatically be on that. So tomorrow is that, and we're going to be talking about just initially, I'm going to talk about uh, intermittent fasting and fasting, not in detail because it's not really a webinar or anything on that. It's just I just want to set the uh, give us an area, a context in which to talk about. Okay, so remember, health and healing is not any about any specific condition or illness, right? Okay, cool. And of course, I can't see. All right, I'll never, ever, ever get used to this. So, what's this? Never mind. Loud and clear. Cool. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so yes, and I'm just reading Dr. Kobayashi's book again. Um, and I'm gonna make that. That's gonna be several, because this man was an absolutely brilliant genius. Should have had a few Nobel prizes. Um, anyway, just as an aside, you all know that if there's any spike protein, any possibility of you having spike proteins in you, the GP 120. Um, interestingly enough, was found on the HIV, whatever it is, what they're calling a virus, and then it's also found on the what they're calling the C19. So same spike protein. Interesting. Okay, but you all know that nattokinase, bromelain, right? Bromelain from pineapple, right? You know that, um, and even are like major um, um, antagonists to the spike protein. They'll actually dissolve them. And there's a lot of good papers out regarding nattokinase, right? Nattokinase is the enzyme from natto. Natto's fermented soybean. All right. The other things that affect it, that also block it, dissolve it, and all that are curcumin. Right, because we all talk about curcumin a lot. So, those 3 main ones. You can also use lumbrokinase, which is Boluki, right? Any of those kinds of enzymes um, seem to dissolve it. They also stimulate your plasminogen, which keeps your blood thin, which is always good to have thinner blood, not too thin, but thinner blood, right? So the combination of the natto, bromelain, and the curcumin, and so you could do like for the natto you could do the 2,000, the units are FU twice a day. The bromelain you could do 500 a day at least, and curcumin 500 twice a day. I mean, that's kind of a standard depending on where you're at, how many exposures you've had. Yeah. And everyone, remember, uh, I may not have spoken about it online, but you all know Event 201, and right, 201 in October of 2019, and then we had Event 202 in October of 2023. And Event 202 was a tabletop simulation, where they had people from, like, what's his name? What's that Billy Boy? The guy likes to make mosquitoes, and what's he plays with mosquitoes and people's lives, and what's his name again? Yeah. Huh. Anyway, we've got the highest security protection of all the billionaires. I wonder why. Um, Anyway, so he kind of led it, and then you had other people. You had representatives or people from the media, from law enforcement, from military, from academia, every politics, country leaders, to all get involved in the simulation. Anyway, the simulation, if you didn't know about it, you maybe could find it, Event 202. And the reason I'm telling you this is just it happens to be relevant to every person alive. And so Event 202, it was a kind of just like, the Event 201, they were saying, what if a coronavirus just came out of, I don't know, Wuhan, China? What would happen? And so that was what Event 201 was in October of 2019. Anyway, so Event 202 was, what if an enterovirus came out of Brazil, I don't know, in 2025? Anyway, the acronym is SEERS, so we'll probably be seeing it soon. And I think this may be the one that you all remember that video clip. Wait till they see the next one. Who that was again? Guy and his wife. Anyway, trying to stay away from TikTok. They don't like me for some reason. Anyway, so that's that. I didn't even intend to talk about this stuff, but let me find my. There we are. Yay. Okay. So the inner circle, I guess, is open. So now everyone can sign in. I guess before it was for just people on the waiting list. So now everyone can sign in at drlodi.com inner circle. Okay. And I may have told you about the topics that will be, so the health and healing, the topics. What am I talking about with when we do the live stream? I mean, the live that or whatever you want. So, and as you know, so there'll be four, one a week for the CFC group, 2 a month for Parasite, and 2 a month for health and healing. And as you know, if you're in Parasite, you get health and healing, and if you're in CFC, you get both Parasite and health and healing. Anyway, so tomorrow's will be what is intermittent fasting? What is it really? And is it important? How is it important? And also, we can get into fasting a bit as well. I mean, what they're calling intermittent fasting is not intermittent fasting. Anyway, okay, so let's get started. Let's do that. Okay. And you all know that we're on, for now, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, right? And we're all, that's at Dr. Thomas Lodi, whereas Twitter is at Dr. Thomas Lodi MD. Okay, so, all right. That's that. So this is a very strange thing here. I know I'm not looking at people. So there we go. There's that, and that's that, and then this is this. So and the parasite one will be so remember, if you're on CFC or parasite, you automatically are on this health and healing. So come tomorrow morning, same time, 5 p.m. for East, West, I don't know, Arizona. And I don't know if it's daylight savings or not, but whatever, 3 hours later, hey, there she is. Sincere, as always, beautiful. Yeah, the general health group, good. Join it, because tomorrow we start. But it's going to be amazing. I have so many amazing topics I want to talk about. I mean, non really serious situations as well as serious situations. And how do we keep away from becoming serious? How do we keep this, I don't know, this ability to breathe and to think and to be happy and to enjoy, and look forward to things and all that. I mean, how do we keep it? How do we keep it? And you're not thinking about it if you're young. The problem, I mean young and healthy. I'm not talking about some, there are real, unfortunately, sick people, younger people, but most of the time, if you're young, you just say, what? I don't want to hear about this. And they don't listen, and you don't listen. That old expression, youth is wasted on the young, because they don't really realize how good they have it until they start to lose it, right? All right. So anyway, you guys, I wish I could see all their stuff. I did, though. Mastectomy, and I didn't find. Okay. So, all right. So you guys, you did double mastectomy, and you didn't find anything. What? All right. This okay. This yeah. Wait, let me. I gotta see if I read that right. Did I read that right? Oh, and I didn't do anything else. Okay, good. All right, so now these Telegram groups, we've all you've started it. If you're in a group, you've started it. So what these Telegram groups are going to be, or what I would like them to be, is for all of us to talk. You know how you're doing right now. You're all communicating and sharing because you all have various um, areas of expertise. You have various experiences. You have, I mean, I learn, everything from you all. You're. It's fan. I mean, for me, it's really like it's like having a I don't know, 1,000 teachers. How cool is that? Anyway, so what I'd like these things to be on the group is so we all chat. So it's not just me. So because it kind of what it's turning into, especially on the CFC Telegram one, is that it's just turning into a digital consultation with me. And I mean, and I can't do that because what if we have 100 people on the group and we're going through everybody's specific situation? I'll never. It won't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm having, I don't know if you all. I have a naturopath working with me. Her name is Nicole, and she lives in Michigan. Incredible family, amazing daughter, little girl, beautiful angel, and her husband is like they're just like, you know, when I was growing up, they had these families like what were they showing on TV? Remember when I was young, there were 5 channels. Everything was black and white. There were 5 channels. I think they all ended around 10 or 11. I don't know, but it was like anyway. Leave It to Beaver and what else? My Three Sons, things like that. Anyway, so like I think what was the and then Nelson. Anyway, they had these typical perfect families, and they were doing that so that we would, it was to teach us how to be idiots, right? It was the idiot training. So the idiot training, and we a lot of us really took it to heart and became idiots. But anyway, her perfect family I met was these Nicole and her family in Michigan. Anyway, so she's a naturopath, and she'll be working with me on this, all of this, to help me and help you. Okay, so, and she gets it. She gets it. So she's, um, you know, so if I can't get to everybody, she will definitely help me on that. And of course, she will, her and I confer like daily. So, it's the same as, I mean, it's one mind with two faces. Okay, so um, anyway, so here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to take, instead of saying, because what everyone needs to understand, if you have CFCs anywhere in your body, I can even take this further, and I should. All right, but let's just do CFCs right now. You have CFCs anywhere in your body. For those that you don't know what it is, because people come on every week, they're new. CFCs, chronically fermenting cells, is really the biology of what they call cancer. But it's the biology of it, so it gives us an understanding on how to work with it and all that sort of thing, instead of this vague, obscure, terrifying word that they use. Okay, so anyway, that's what CFCs are. So anybody just tuning in for the first time, CFCs are what they call cancer. It is not, okay, which is a non-informational communication. No information, but a ton of emotion, negative emotion, immune suppressing emotion. So now, so what I want you to know, I know you all are like me. We were raised in this mythological world of diseases and things that are going to attack us, and we got to defend ourselves, and we're going to fight, and we anyway, it's a false world. It's not real. It's not the way it is. It's a Rockefeller world, and it's designed to sell stuff. Period. And well, it's twofold, to sell stuff, which are cures and remedies and treatments, right? Because you have this unique situation, and secondly, to keep us divided, ignorant, and preoccupied. And meanwhile, they're closing in on us, but we didn't even know it because we were too busy trying to whatever. So anyway, remember, ovarian, breast, colon, prostate, pancreas, just location is different. Nothing else is different. What do you mean I have estrogen? Okay. So now, in terms of the biology of chronically fermenting cells, I'm talking about, that is the same. Right? They're the same. They've got, okay. We won't go through that now. We'll do it in the CFC group. Okay. Now, what's different is that the location in which it occurs is, like, for example, the ovary has different functions than the liver. So it's going to be doing different things, and it's going to, but to think that the ovary and breast and prostate are hormone related and the liver's not, well, the liver, insulin, glucagon, the liver, what else does the liver do? It gets those estrogens that are made, and it metabolizes them into its other forms. And those other forms of those hormones are like 70-80% of the effect of that hormone. In other words, when we make a hormone, it's not just the parent hormone that's made, but it's what it gets modified into. Those intermediate metabolites have their effect as well, and their ratios and the amount of this one versus that one, and it seriously impacts everything, right? So that's why when we do testing, we want to do urinary metabolites. All right, I don't look at hair. I don't look at saliva. I do blood initially to get basic fundamental parent hormones, and then after we get you started on whatever if you need some help with biologically identical, then we would start looking at the urinary metabolites. Why? Because I want to see what you're metabolizing. Right? If you have, let's say, your estrone and your estradiol and estriol are all like within the healthy ranges, but your liver is turning out what I'm finding in your urine. You got a ton of 4-hydroxyestrone and blah 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 blah, blah, and not enough to alpha 2-hydroxyestrone, not enough. And too much of that. So, and then we say, okay, so wow, yeah, you're making it, but it's not being metabolized in a healthy way. So now we can work on that. And if we didn't do the urinary metabolites, we wouldn't know that. We won't find it in the saliva. We won't find it in the hair. We'll only find it in the urine. All right. And the saliva, what does the saliva do? I mean, think about salivary hormones. I know a lot of practitioners use them, but for me, like I just think, okay. So if I looked at my prostatic fluid, I would think, is that representative of the whole body? Probably not. It's probably really representative of prostate. Yeah, it might have a little bit of everything in it, but it's pretty much going to be different than the fluid I might extract from my salivary glands or if I had ovaries. In other words, I don't think that the salivary is indicative of the whole body. Okay, that's it. Anyway, so what I'd like to do with these groups, these CFC groups, is I'd like to go through them and find if I can get like categories: breasts, ER positive, triple negative, colon, primary, non-metastatic, colon, metastatic, or what, I don't even know, but just so that, and so we get several people in each category, and then I can answer categories. But if we start getting into specifics, because I want you to understand something, and I'll tell you all on these groups, especially the CFC group, what labs to look at, why they're important, why I look at them, why I think that, and I'll explain it so that you'll know. So there shouldn't be any really specific questions about yours, except if you get a result. Now, no, share it. Share it. Say, hey, I did these tests and I got these results. So then, and then I can do that for everybody. Okay, so everybody will understand that we want to do the same test. Why do we want to do the same test? Well, what's wrong with this guy? Why do we want to do the same test? Because what? You mean it's the same process going on in different locations? Oh my gosh. Um, are we back? Hello? Sorry, cop. Facebook, back? Yes? Did I lose my, are you guys there? Hello? Yeah. Hey, you guys, are we back on Facebook? Can someone tell me? There's got to be a better system than this. Yeah? No? Hey, Tina, Luis, everyone. Yay, everyone's here. Okay, are we back? Yes. Okay, good. Thanks, you guys. Ow, the heck happened? By the way, I had a great weekend I was in the middle of a typhoon. It's pretty amazing. I don't think anybody got hurt, but all the trees, we're in the streets. The airport was closed, couldn't leave. I was in Hanoi, Vietnam. Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, can you imagine all the? I'm walking down the streets of Hanoi, and I'd say 70% of the restaurants had vegan food. What? Yeah, I mean not just vegetarian, but vegan. Yeah, and if you're getting vegan Vietnamese food, it's like whoa, pretty good. Now I didn't find any raw, and we're gonna stop using that word raw. We're gonna use the word real. Okay, so anyway, now, cool. Anyway, so what I want to do anyway, I'd like to um, categorize into groups so that I can, and it'll answer everybody. Believe me, because like for example, if you send me something, say here's my hormones, here's my chemistries and my, I can look at them and I can say that this is here and that's here and that's basically true. But what I'm going to say to you is it applies to everybody. In other words, here's the thing: if we know what we're looking for, right? We're looking to get we want to get the LDH down. These are non-specific, right? It doesn't matter where it's located. We want to get that down because anyway, we'll talk about all this. I just want you to know that send in your results, but let's not turn it into. Don't think that we're. First of all, I don't want you to think what they're trying to get you to think, and that is that it's rare or individual, unique, and they're gonna because it's not. We're not unique. It's the same thing going on. Mm-hmm. You know, did you ever were you ever being examined by a clinician, and they took a rubber hammer, and hit your just below your kneecap, and your leg goes like that? You know why they did that? Because everybody has that same reflex. And if we think you might have a thyroid problem like hyper or hypo, part of our physical exam is to hold your foot in a certain way and hit your ankle. And depending on how your reflex is, we can tell if you're hypo or hyper. Why? Because everyone has it. If you were going to have surgery and they opened up your abdomen within 15 seconds, I could find superior mesenteric artery. I could find your portal vein. I could find why? Because we're all the same. We're all the same. Oh, I want to be different. You're not different. We're not different. We're the same. Mm, mm. I mean, we might have bigger noses, and then as you get older, you get bigger ears and all that. But we're all the same. Yeah, but I'm really okay. So here's the thing: we got lost in this. They entrapped us with the celebrity thing, right? And we look at celebrities like they're different, and they're not. Okay, so physically we're the same. Believe me. I mean, and if you have genetic problems, that's 5% of the human race, who we never see because they're in institutions. They can't take care of themselves. They're certainly not going to reproduce. So we have the same physiology, the same biology, the same cellular biology. We have the same anatomy. I mean, that's it. That's why. So that's when you're going to, if like, for example, you see a diet says the blood type diet. Oh my God. Please, you guys. Can you, first of all, I think I'm just, I gotta segue for a second. Okay. Because, and I can't remember the numbers, but horses have like 11, 8, 9 blood types. Dogs have a lot too. In fact, rabbits, they all have different blood types. They don't eat different foods. I don't know. How did this guy get away with it? What's his name again? Jeez, I don't even want to remember it. You know, how did he get away with that? And people bought it. I know, because everybody's hungry for the truth. And listen, when you hear the truth, you're going to know it. And it's not complicated. You're going to know this is true because it's true. 1 and 1 is 2. Whoa. Okay. You're going to argue with me about 1 and 1 is 2? No. It's just your opinion. Is that my opinion? Okay. So remember, you only have opinions about things you don't know. If you know it, it's not an opinion. Right? Okay. Right? If I do a math problem and it's not an opinion. An opinion implies that there's no real fundamental truth. Anything could be right. No. Things happen the way they happen. The way they happen. They don't happen another way. They happen the way they happen. So there is a fundamental truth to things. Okay? So, and if you know what that is, you know. It's not an opinion. And if you don't know what that is, you can have an opinion on what it might be. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Of course they are. Right. But you know what else everybody's entitled to do? Study, read, learn, become your own source. Because you're going to trust them. You're going to trust them, right? You're going to trust them. You're going to believe them, whoever them are, they are, right? Don't believe them. By the way, just real quickly, those of you in the U.S., can you tell me, is it still a significant issue about pronouns that you use to describe yourself? Tell me. Have we moved on to other things? Chicken, fish, shrimp, what? It's still a big deal? Oh my God. And if you don't use it, am I correct in that if you don't use it, you're like offensive and you could be in trouble? I mean, are you in trouble? For example, if I had somebody working at Oasis and they wanted to be, and it was a woman, but her pronoun was I don't know, them, and I didn't call her them, would I be violating labor laws? Yeah. All right. So here's the thing, you guys. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let me ask you something. Can you argue with somebody who doesn't argue back? No. Can one hand clap? No. It's called the Palladium rule. All right. So Sharon, thank you. Okay. So right. Anyway, so remember, it takes two. It takes two or more to have a continuum, right? You need an up and a down, and then there's everything in between. Right? Platinum. The platinum rule. Well, don't you first? Okay, so never say that again. All right, you guys, don't ever say the word platinum. Remember, words. Don't use their words. If you use their words, it exists. All right, I guess. Yeah, oh my God. All right, so platinum's better than gold. Huh. What about oxygen? I think oxygen is pretty important. Anyway, so don't use their words. Forget it, and don't do that stuff. Don't do it. Just continue to do what you do. I'm noticing. I'm reading studies now, and they're saying for people who were assigned male at birth or assigned female at birth, Okay, I'm just telling you, don't do it. All right. So, okay, so let's. I'm going to try to answer all your questions, and Nicole's going to help me, and I will. But it's going to be much more effective if I can take a group of one category and give a much better, much more detailed, thorough understanding. Because I like that. I like to make sure that it's understood. Right? Understood. Understood. Okay. Cool. All right, I can't see you guys, but anyway, let's move on. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Not many people anymore. Okay. So, um, okay, just quickly, the health and healing group, intermittent fasting, blah blah blah, this week, tomorrow, and then the next one for the month will be movements, exercises that actually extend your life and help you and are change the prognosis if you have any kind of conditions such as CFCs. Oh, specific. And then the parasite, we're going to do the truth about ivermectin, right? Because suddenly it's bad. And then the other one is in that month will be in this month will be is there what about natural remedies to eliminate parasites? Okay, so that'll be that. And then of course in CFC we're going to have what situations really require surgery? Do I need surgery? If I do, how do I prepare for it? Okay. The other one question is, can I do both conventional and the integrative? And the third one will be, how do you manage pain in those? If you have that. Okay, so all right. And so it's gonna be fun, but you don't have to limit it to that. You can talk about whatever is burning inside of you. All right. So first one is from Carrie Ann. Hi, Dr. Lodi. I am stage 3 breast CSC. Wow. Okay. Before we go any further, that first sentence, Carrie Ann, is um, you just defined yourself. Even if you go back and read that because you just defined yourself as stage 3 breast cancer. Right? That's I am. No. Okay. If you all recall, when we talk about what I've mentioned before, sorcery, casting a spell is putting a word on something. You give it a word, you give it existence. Science does that. Science puts words on things and gives it to existence. Right? I'm not going to get I'm not going to get really philosophical because you guys are here for specifically. I won't get into it. But anyway, I just want you are not that, okay? That is not what you are. Self-cleaning ovens, how do self-cleaning ovens work? Yeah, you just get the knob, right? Whatever. And you close it and walk away, right? All right. Same thing with this. How do you let it heal? You close it and walk away. In a sense. So what I'm saying is this: this is a self-healing earth suit body, and it's a process. It's not a thing. It's not like a rock that happened. Even a rock's not is happening. It's exchanging very slowly exchanging molecules and stuff with, but not at all like a biological organism. Okay, so I mean, 36 sextillion chemical reactions every second, 21 zeros. All right, every second, every second. Yes, that's 37 million new cells per second, 37. So, you know, that you are completely, you are a flame, right? A flame is not a thing, it's streaming gases, right? You are a flame, and you're, uh, you're, let's see, using modern vernacular, you're hardwired, or you're programmed to regenerate, rejuvenate, and procreate. Regenerate, rejuvenate, and procreate. And that's what you'll do. And we will do that. I mean, that we'll do that. That, you see, our language is really bad. Is what keeps us ignorant. Imagine that. It's such a paradox. I won't even, I mean, I can't, in my mind, language is words. The more words you lose, the better your vocabulary. The better vocabulary, the better your language, the better rewards you get. You get higher, better jobs, and all that. But words limit reality, and I'm not going to get into that at all. But because I want to answer this question. All right, so I have what they're calling stage 3 breast CFCs. You know, and what does that mean? Everybody know what stage 3 means? It means that it when wherever the cells began to ferment, that little area, it grew. When it grew, it became a stage 2, meaning it's bigger, basically, taking up more space. And stage 3 means it's gone to a lymph node, basically. Stage 4 means it was gone to another organ. That's all it means. Okay, that's all they mean. That's what they mean. But if you look at this stuff carefully, you'll realize that it took 8 years minimum to find a little nodule. And during that 8 years, it was already going all over the place. It's already microscopically stage 12. So what we want to do is not let them, there's seeds all over. And we just don't want to water them. That's what we don't want to water them. We don't want to take, so, and that's our lifestyle. And okay. So I've started with conventional treatment in Australia, but I had a horrible experience. I was so unwell that I ended up in a hospital with a flu/coronavirus. Okay. Let me stop there. Okay. They don't know. All right. Wow. Well, I'm not, I said I could go way off, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. But okay. That, you were not well. You were not well. Let's leave it at that. Let's not give it a name. Okay. Coronavirus, flu, whatever, because whatever that means to them, it means to them. To you, it just meant that I don't feel good. All right. And I don't feel good. So what do I have to do? I have to heal. How do I heal? Well, drink lots of fluids and rest, and I make sure I'm well nourished and hydrated, getting oxygen. As soon as I can move, I move. We restore physiology. The goal is to restore physiology, restore healthy physiology. How do you do that? By making sure that, ensuring that all the requirements for that are being met, which means what? Eating food. What food? Human food. Okay. Breathing air, drinking water. What kind of water? Water without chemicals, without chloride, fluoride, water. And I'm getting nutrients, right? I'm getting these macronutrients, I'm getting micronutrients, phytonutrients, minerals. I'm getting all that stuff. And I'm getting it in a bioavailable form, the way I would be eating if I didn't have a culture. If my culture didn't lead me astray, and I had grown up, I was raised in the jungle, like, you know, suppose, wasn't that how Tarzan was? Wait, did I get that wrong with Tarzan? I don't know. It's all movies, but yeah, right. He got dropped off there as a baby. Was that it? And he got raised in the jungle. Anyway, here's a guy without culture. And without culture, he knows what to eat. He knows what to eat and what not to eat. He knows how to get it. Do we know how to eat? Do we know what to eat? No. Not if we were in the jungle, what would we do other than cry? We wouldn't know what to eat. We don't know what food is. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Uh, anyway, so many limited options in Australia. I know. I am on fenbendazole and supplements. What other suggestions do you have? I'm still young with two young boys, and I can't afford to be knocked out by chemo, and definitely do not want surgery. How can I consult with you? Can I fly to Thailand? All right. So you've booked an appointment with a Dr. Bondi in Sydney. You know, I connected with an Australian doctor, and I'm gonna try to go back and look at my notes and remember, because I wanted to let everybody know, and I didn't. Anyway, so okay, Carrie Ann, and everybody, if you get told that you have this condition, stay away from them. From that on point on, they because they already damaged you. They gave, look at they put a spell on you. You think that's who you are now. What the heck is that? Did you all hear that? Anyway, you're not okay. So, what we have to do when we find out we have that is, first of all, realize what it is. They're chronically fermenting cells, and they're doing that as an adaptive response. Okay. To what? To toxins, cumulative toxins. From where? Living on planet Earth. All right. And some of us live in more toxic places than others. So there's toxins in our environment. There's toxins in our body. Our mouths are number one. We have, why? Because about 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, we started eating more grains and stuff like that. We started farming. And so our oral microbiome changed. And then it changed again in the late 19th century, about in the latter parts of 1800s, when we started to process foods. Okay, again, changed our oral microbiome. All right, so now the microorganisms that are in there have been associated with all sorts of problems, from cardiovascular to colon CFC, to breast CFC. Yeah. Why are they there? Because we feed them. Why is anything where it's at? Because it's getting fed. I got ants in my house. You're feeding them somehow. Snakes. Yeah. Whatever it is, it's being fed. Now, these microorganisms get into our because of the standard dental practice, which is as helpful as standard medical practice. We wind up with things like root canals and inappropriate extractions, or unhealthy extractions. We wind up with periodontal conditions where these organisms get up into our teeth, where they connect to the bones, and we lose our teeth and all that stuff. Okay, all of that is a source of major source of the body's functioning. So that's got to be looked at. You got to look at your teeth. You have root canals. You have extractions. Anyway, okay, got to find a biological dentist. Now, in addition to that, you got to clean everything out. How do we clean everything out? Well, we flush it. We flush it. How do we flush it? When you flush the toilet, what's happening? What's happening when you're flushing a toilet? Water's coming in and it's going out, right? Take a shower. What's happening? The water's going on, and you're washing, and dirt is going off, dirt or whatever it is. Okay, so how do we clean the inside of the body? We drink 4 liters a day, 5 if you can drink, of fresh, Juice. Mostly vegetables, healthy vegetables, organic vegetables, um, and add whatever you need to make it delicious. Fruit. Add pineapple. Add apple. Whatever you need to do to make it delicious, because you got to flush. Remember, we're not doing anything right now but flushing. That's our goal right now, is to flush. But don't make it like, really sweet. Come on. You know what I mean? Just make it sweet enough so you like it, but not going to make you, you know, increase your blood sugar. So, but you do want to drink, and love, love, love it. Because if you don't like it, it's not good for you. Now, you're going to do that. You're also going to get your colon clean. So if you can't find a colon hydrotherapist, you're going to learn to do enemas. Okay, just saltwater enemas, just daily. Keep that stuff flowing and eating. Now, after the juice cleanse, which is going to be a minimum of 3 weeks, then what are you going to do? Well, but I'd like you to go 8 weeks. If you did 8 weeks, anyway, when you start eating, then what a perfect chance. You've been eating, liquid diet of juice, right? Uncooked, all the enzymes, minerals, phytonutrients, amino acids, everything except fat and fiber. So now when you eat, here's a perfect opportunity for you to eat what? Real food. What is real food? Stuff that the earth produces. Under the direction of, should I say it? Well, some people call it dark energy and dark matter, which I think sounds rather satanic. I just call it God. And again, God's not up somewhere. Because remember, if I keep going up, I'm going to wind up above the earth, right? Then I'm in space. Then there's no up and down, right? Or sideways, right? Because there's no reference point. Okay, so there's no up. So anyway, okay. I mean the divine intelligence that is everything. So, the colon, you're going to keep the colon clean. You're going to be eating real food. Real food is what grows, not what's prepared. Heat destroys the nutrients, not completely, but to differing degrees. If you heat anything up above 119 Fahrenheit or 48, 47, 48, 49 centigrade Celsius, the enzymes are forever inactivated. So you get none of the benefit of those enzymes. Right. So, and right now you want to make sure that you're eating to provide the appropriate nutrients and sources of energy for your body to continue rejuvenating, and procreating. Well, procreating, we'll save that. But regenerating and rejuvenating, rejuvenating at the rate of 37 million new cells per second. Okay. It's probably more than that. I CFC is worse. Her tumor has gotten bigger since February, taking ivermectin, mebendazole supplements, and flax. Only ultrasound as a comparison. Any blood test you recommend? Okay, so Sally, wait a minute. Her oncologist is giving her flax. That's like amazing. Okay, no, so it's just amazing. It's a regular oncologist. Well, it's in their literature, so yeah. No, it's not making things grow. So her tumor's gotten bigger since February. That means that you haven't gotten rid of the source. It's still being fed. And you can keep knocking it down with whatever you want, but it's going to keep growing because you haven't stopped the source. As I just said with Carrie Ann, we've got to take care of all the from the mouth down, okay? And I didn't even talk about this part up here, which is number one. Anyway, flax. Do you all know what flax is? Okay, flax seeds are they also call them linseeds. That sounds terrible. Anyway, they're very, very important. Okay, so what they are is they've got there are lots of polyphenols and micronutrients in plants, right? Like flavonoids, stilbenes, phenolic acids, lignans, and other stuff. Okay, so what? Okay, so TikTok. Okay, so TikTok. I had to play. Why does TikTok do that? So weird. Anyway, so so for your information, Sally, I wouldn't recommend 2 tablespoons. I'd recommend 3 a day, freshly ground, in a nut milk, and I'd put in 2 handfuls of broccoli sprouts, organic broccoli sprouts, and then put in whatever you want: strawberries, pineapple, whatever you want. Blend that up. You're in nut milk. You blend that up, and every day. Plus, you're going to have 6 tablespoons of chia porridge every day. And you're going to be pretty happy. So, but I just want to tell you about the flax seeds, okay? So polyphenols, they're flavonoids. You might not know these terms, and it doesn't matter, but you've heard them: flavonoids and stilbenes and phenols, phenolic acids, and lignans. Okay, I don't know. Some people think that lignans are not healthy, but anyway, keep in mind, why do plants make these? They make these compounds in response to, or they exist to block the radiation from the sun, because they don't move, right? Plants are just stuck in one place, and so they can't get out of the way. So they've got to really have powerful protection from radiation, and that's what these things are. They're also protections from like insects and other things, other kinds of microscopic pathogens, right? Okay. So the flax seeds, they have these lignin precursors, right? Now, by the way, where do we get lignans? First of all, they're amazing, important, and I'll get into that in a minute. But where do we get lignans? We get them from vegetables, fruits, legumes, actually whole grain cereals, and seeds, nuts. Now you'll notice that I did not say there are no animal sources of lignans. Okay. Now, we all know of the lignans in soy, the isoflavones that bind to the beta receptor of estrogen receptors and shrinks things. Yeah. Flax does the same thing. And flax not only binds to the beta receptor to shrink things, but it also tells your body to stop producing so much of the alpha receptor, which, if it gets stimulated, makes things grow. That's what flax does, right? All right. And and it's the seed lignans that are probably, where most people in Western diets get their lignans from. As opposed to Asian diets, who might get more from soy. All right. So the richest dietary source of lignans is flax seeds. Okay. So why are they so important, these lignans? They're anti-inflammatory, they're antioxidants, and they're anti-CFCs. They are, they kind of look like estrogen. If you look at the molecule, they look like estrogen. But remember, they get the beta receptor. In other words, they do the stuff that we need. But the most concentrated amount of lignans is flax. Number 2 is sesame seeds. And then number 3 is cashews, actually. All right. So, but it's not just that. Okay. Also drinks, right? So tea. Tea not only has lignans, but it's got other polyphenols as well. And guess what else? Shh, coffee. Yeah, coffee's got it. It's an important source of lignans for the Western world. Yeah. So, and then regarding the alcoholic beverages, which ones have lignin? Well, red wine has more than white wine. All right. And it happens to be in olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, which is the main added fat in the Mediterranean diet, the famous Mediterranean diet, right? Okay, so the Mediterranean diet, in case it's gotten a lot of uh, publicity over the years, but it's predominantly plant-based with low intake of sugar, right? Of course, and low intake of animal flesh. Although they do have fish, poultry, and fermented dairy, which is yogurt, right? And they have a lot of unprocessed cereals and legumes, fruits, nuts, and vegetables. And their principal source of added fat is extra virgin olive oil. It turns out that extra and a moderate consumption of red wine. And I don't know how moderate it is, but yeah. Anyway, these guys are, Mediterranean is well known, but they're still not living as long as actually, where's that one place? Sardinia. I think it's Sardinia. Average age is like 100. Is it Sardinia? Anyway, and that's because of what we think. It's probably because of these. It's thought, in addition to lifestyle, all the important things. They also get a really high amount of an essential saturated fatty acid, C15. We'll talk about that about one day. Now, so in terms of CFCs, how is it important? Okay, I know I'm getting around, but I'm jumping around a bit. But anyway, listen. The people that have diets rich in flaxseed, which your mom now has, they have. What they're finding is, see, what happens is that it's a precursor. In the flaxseed is a lignin that gets in there, and then the microorganisms in their small intestine modify them. And then some of them are absorbed there, and then some get down into the colon, and the colon actually absorbs as well. But it's all dependent on these microorganisms. It's all dependent on having a healthy microbiome, right? And the healthy microbiome is what you're feeding them. So if you're feeding them flax, they're going to show up to take care of it. If you're feeding them sesame, they're going to show up to take care of it. And when we do the health and healing, I think we can go over like the basic Mediterranean diet, the Asian diet, the basic Western diet, the northern European, what are they up the Scandinavian type diets, and Asian diets, and just kind of look at the parts of it. All right, so now. So the gut microflora modify these precursors and turn them into really important molecules for our health, right? By the way, the Mediterranean diet, which we were just talking about, was the elements of the diet that made they found that people lived longer and were healthier. Was the fiber, the bioactive compounds, right, which are antioxidants, the functional fatty acids and stuff, and a low intake of saturated fats, which were like the main kind of things with that diet. Anyway, so now CFCs. Breast, prostate, ovarian, esophageal, gastric, and colon. significantly affected by lignans. Okay. So there was a study in 2010 um, looking at lignin intake in postmenopausal women with breast CFCs, right? And they found that there was a significant reduction in mortality from breast CFCs. And then they also found that there was a significant reduction in all cause mortality in these people. And they found with premenopausal, they found a reduction in breast CFC risk. And interestingly enough, they found a reduction in if someone did develop CFCs, it was not triple negative. Yeah. So it's very, and prostate, it was significantly, which is why soy and flax are medicine. Soy, flax, and cruciferous vegetables are wow. Okay, and I'm sorry, you guys. I can't name a body part of a dead animal that would do anything for you. Oh, yeah, I guess if you ate the adrenal gland of a sheep, yeah, that you're going to get some of their hormones, some of their adrenal hormones, and it could help you in times of until you can get your body replenished. It could help you, but the stuff like that. But in terms of giving you the that which you need to be restored to health, comes from plants. What can I say? But that's only because of our species. That's only because we happen to be, um, Homo sapien. Hmm. Whatever that means. Okay. Um, all right. So flax is fantastic. Soy is fantastic. Non-GMO, organic, of course. Sesame seeds, nuts and seeds. All right. So now, blood test. You said blood test. We got to first, Sally, get rid of all the potential toxins like I discussed earlier. By the way, this you can repeat. This will be watched again on Instagram and Facebook and all that. Watch it again to hear what I said about to the woman earlier. All right, so is Renee, should I take calcium if I'm on hormone blockers for hormone breast CFC? All right, well, um, you're on hormone blockers. Oh. All right, so for all of you on hormone blockers, we're blocking the hormones because uh, for a short time, for a while, the person is having the hormone will have maybe shrinkage and loss of progression, and looks like things are good until it doesn't. Then it's called hormone resistant, whatever, prostate, breast, whatever they're going to call it. Because why? When is the body? What is a healthy body? A healthy body is when all the different aspects of it are balanced, including the hormones. Balanced hormones produce a healthy physiology. Imbalanced hormones produce the requirement of the body needing to adapt to survive. And that adaptation is what causes problems. All right. So being on a hormone blocker means you're throwing it more out of balance. So now it's completely out of balance, and it's going to adapt, and eventually, it's it, everything's going to come through. That's not the answer to anything. We want to restore balance in all of your body's different flows. I hate to use the word systems, but So, and of course our muscles moving, just moving, lifting, pulling, yeah, and all of that, and sleeping early. I mean, all this stuff works to restore physiology. Remember, physiology. We were designed to be optimally functioning organisms. That's how we're designed, and that can only happen if we're getting what is required for that to happen. And that's what we're doing here. And we're not want to get rid of anything. We want to restore healthy physiology, and then there won't be any lumps or bumps anywhere. In the meantime, I got this lump tumor growing. What are you going to do about that? Okay, so now, yes, in addition to restoring healthy physiology, we're going to be cleansing. We want to remove the reason it gets initiated. And then we're going to use therapies that will kill, destroy, shrink the tumors. Yeah. But they won't destroy and shrink you and your immune system and your brain. You need to be, you'll know if you're on a good program, if you have lots of energy, you're happy, or more energy than you did have. You've got the energy to move around. You're looking forward to tomorrow. You enjoy eating. You enjoy sex. Yeah, then you're on the right program. You're on a program that's allowing you to live life. Because the bottom line, what do we, that's what we're trying to do, is just live life in a healthy, happy, vibrant way. So should you take calcium if you're on a hormone blocker? I mean, you could, or you could just eat lots of vegetables that have calcium in it and drink juices. You're going to get lots of calcium, right? And the thing is, you've got to work on the pH of your stomach, right? You've got to now calcium absorption too has everything to do with your vitamin D level, your estrogen level, and if they're knocking your estrogens out, then your ability to absorb calcium is going to be really compromised. So even if you took a lot, you're not going to absorb it that much. It's the hormone blockers that are the problem. And I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about tamoxifen? Are you talking about I don't know. So they give you like a shot every 3 months or something. I don't know what they're doing, but if they're giving you those shots, like it's called a medical castration. It slips my mind right now, but they give it to men with prostate CFCs also, and it shuts down your hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis. You're not producing anything, and it just knocks everything out of balance. Okay, so now, Irina, I have a 10 millimeter mass in my right breast. I did ultrasound, MRI, and QT imaging. My Chinese naturopathic practitioner told me that it is not CFCs. He believes it is candida. What is your opinion about it, and is it necessary to do a biopsy? So 10 millimeters, very small. It's in your right breast. And there's nothing in your armpit, right? And does the mass get larger and smaller during your cycle? Or is it unchanged? Is it hard or is it soft? Is it like a defined little hard mass, or is it kind of a diffusely woven into its surroundings? Now, candida wouldn't usually be in a little mass. We have candida in our mouth. I mean, they're part of our microbiome. They perform very important functions. Now, You did an ultrasound. Is it so? I'm assuming it's solid and not they call cystic. Um, anyway, you need to do Irina. Um, no, biopsy is not only not necessary; it's you don't want to do it. If you do a biopsy, what are they going to do? They're going to give it to the pathologist. He's going to look at it and give it a name. You don't want to name it. You just say, "Look, I got this mass in my right breast. I'm going to just get restored to health." Okay, do all the things we were talking about. Now, iodine, which I didn't mention before, but for everybody, iodine, you need to be taking it orally and balancing your thyroid at the same time. You can't just take iodine too much because you'll lower your thyroid output. But for women, you can get the Lugol's um, liquid iodine, 2% or 5%. It's 2%, put maybe 3 drops on each breast every day, regardless of who you are. I mean, if you have any problems. But for you, Irina, you can especially paint that mass with it. Get a little brush or a Q-tip, and just every day paint that. Plus, you're gonna be getting your other breast too. Because why? Because iodine, the molecular iodine, actually is a necessary cofactor to help. We were talking earlier about estrogen or hormone metabolites. This helps it the estrone turn into the healthy metabolite rather than the unhealthy metabolite. Mm, mm, mm. Very important. No, Irina, don't get anything. Just everything we just said. Colon therapy. Go to sleep early. Blah, blah, blah. You all should be taking vitamin C. You should be taking vitamin A, vitamin D, and some sort of mineral complex, which has selenium, zinc, manganese, uh, molybdenum, boron, magnesium. Yeah, those are good ones. And they have these mineral complexes you can take, so you don't have to take 50 pills. Why? Because our soils are depleted with minerals. Even if it's organic, they don't have the minerals anymore. Why? Because of growing practices. Having these mono crops depletes the soil, and then they only put back uh, uh, 3 minerals. And why do they put it back? Why do the farmers and all that put it back? Because it makes the crops grow quickly. Um, so, okay, and I can't overemphasize. I'm going to do a talk on this specifically. The fact that thyroid and adrenals and autonomic nervous system, their effect on the immune system is direct. Okay, if they're in trouble, it's in trouble. If they're doing well, it's well. Period. You've got to balance that. You got to be working on that. So we do that with iodine, and we get a hold of some thyroid, natural thyroid, until we have replenished the iodine in our body, because we're all deficient. Um, and the thing about iodine is it directly will kill tumors, whether they're in the colon, the prostate, the pancreas, it doesn't matter where they are. If you have enough iodine in your system so that it is a part of your interstitial fluid, it will keep anything from growing, any tumor from growing. So there's so many things you can do, Irina, but no, you don't need a biopsy. You don't want them to put a name on it. Iodine. And I mean, there's lots of stuff. You can't limit it to that, but please go back and review that and join the group, so because I'll talk about these things in more detail. Now, Lisa, please discuss the ozone and urotherapy. Do you recommend these types of treatments for CFC of the breast, prostate, brain, etc. Ozone. Okay, ozone is O3. Remember, it's three atoms of ozone. It happens naturally out in the on um, the upper layers of our atmosphere, where the oxygen, which is O2, gets split by ultraviolet light, and you've got two. It splits it, so there's two single oxygen atoms that land on another two, so you have a three. So it lands on an oxygen, and I have an ozone. Um, and there are even more. You wind up with O4s, O8s. There's all kinds of things that can happen up there. But anyway, it's short lived. But when it returns to oxygen, it lets off all kind of energy. It oxidizes. Yeah. So ozone intravenously increases the oxygenation of your blood, stimulates your immune system tremendously, um, and it can directly inactivate lots of chemicals and organisms that you don't need. Um, and it upregulates other enzyme systems. So it stimulates your body's production of antioxidants and things like that, which is what you want. If used directly on a tumor, it'll just oxidize it and get rid of it. So you can inject a breast tumor, you can inject any kind of tumor we can get our hands on. You can inject it with ozone. Ozone will directly kill it through oxidation. And so then ozone, there's different ways. So there's the major autohemo where they take it out and they put it, 200 cc's of blood. They put 200 cc's of ozone, and then you mix it very slowly and putting nothing but healing and love into it, and it gets bright red, and you hang it back up, and that's fantastic, but it's not a lot of blood that got ozonated. Or they have a new one now called EBU, which is extracorporeal blood oxygenation and ozone. Extracorporeal is just a fancy word that means corporeal, corpus, referring to corpse or body. Um, I don't know why they have to use that word, but anyway. Okay. So it serves as the root to many words. Extracorporeal, so outside of the body. So the extracorporeal ozone and oxygen. So the blood comes out and it goes into the machine and it gets mixed with blood and oxygen and it goes back in the other side. Okay, it's almost like dialysis, but it's oxygenating and ozonating. It's called EBU. The other one is TenPass. TenPass is hyperbaric. And that is because if you're going to do, remember I said that first one is not a lot, right? You only get 200 cc's of blood and then 200 cc's of ozone. So it's not a lot because our body has got 5 liters of blood. So 200 cc's is not a lot. So the hyperbaric, the TenPass, is because when you take blood outside the body, it's going to start to clot. It'll start to clot, and that's what happens. So we have to add heparin to prevent the clotting. So the amount of heparin that's put into a 200 cc small bottle like that when we're doing a major autohemo ozone. If you did that, if you let's say, well, I'm going to do 3 of these, 4 of these, well, you'd be too much heparin, you'd start bleeding. So you can't do that. So someone came up with the idea of at a hyperbaric. In other words, it keeps it from slowing down. It prevents it from clotting. know how, but they're very important. It's important to do rectal and vaginal under certain circumstances, but I think in terms of getting it good amounts in your blood, you've got to do it some sort of intravenous route. Um, although if you didn't have access to intravenous, then rectal would be good. Urotherapy. You mean urine therapy? Listen, I have the book Uropathy was one of the first books. Here, where is that uropathy? I saw it the other day. Where uropathy? Come on. Anyway, where did I put it? Anyway, yeah. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of, what do you call it? How does this go up? I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of really interesting theories of why it works, but about urotherapy, and you can read all these anecdotal stories of drinking your urine, or some people even have the urine injected intravenously. But my perspective is always one of let's go up 50,000 feet and take a look at the whole picture, and let's get the context. And then here's the thing. So I have skin, lungs, kidneys, bowels to eliminate what the body doesn't need. And the mechanisms of these organs are incredible. The lungs, if you see what they do, skin, the bowels, I mean, you eat food and it goes through and it takes out good stuff and gets rid of and eliminates what it doesn't need or can't metabolize. And then the urine, the blood is being through the kidneys, and the kidneys, keeping sodium, getting rid of the potassium, balancing the balancing the minerals, and balancing the pH, your acid and alkaline, um, monitoring your blood volume, monitoring your the amount of red blood cells you have, which carry oxygen. I mean, the kidneys are really incredible. So I just teleologically, I just cannot imagine that it is eliminating substances that are necessary. So then we need to drink it. Not that it can't be used. It can be used on wounds. It could be used for a variety of different reasons. But so if the urine still has the molecules and stuff in it that is good for us, would that also apply to our feces? Does our feces have molecules of something that we could would benefit us? And our sweat. So, I there's so much. I mean, there's so much to healing and health that doesn't fall into it, and I would not recommend it at all. Um, Ozone, yes, but you got to do lots of other things, Lisa, as you well know. So let's go to Cheryl here. Oh, whoa, Cheryl. Okay, I've heard you say that you don't recommend breast biopsies and to diagnose CFCs. What do you use instead to get a diagnosis if there is a palpable lump present? Okay, but kind of what we were talking about before. Is it hard? Does it get bigger and smaller? Are there any lymph nodes associated? Uh, uh, and you can tell. I mean, ultrasound, a breast MRI. So it depends. In other words, you can pretty much tell if it is, or if it isn't, what is it? What would a lump be doing in your breast? What would it be? Okay, there can be a cyst, which is what? A fluid-filled um, sac in the in an organ, a cyst. Okay, what is that? Why is that there? Well, mostly those are parasites. But now, what are the breasts responsive to? Hormones. So, are your hormones balanced? Do you have no regular periods? Do your breasts get really tender? Uh, the days leading up to your cycle. So, I mean, so much so that you can't hug someone or something. Um, how, when is this grow quickly? Is it hard? All that sort of thing. So, in other words, we can say, okay, well, listen, it shouldn't. It's not part of normal healthy anatomy. So let's do all the things we can to make it go away, to help it go away, to help our body resolve the situation. Okay, and what do we do? The same things we've been talking about, right? Now, you could put on iodine, like I said, with the other in the other situation, the Lugol's iodine, paint it. Uh, but get a get a breast MRI, get a ultrasound and thermogram, and then you put all those pieces together, and you're gonna know, okay, what it is. You got to get somebody who knows how to read them and who is, you know, well versed in both Western and, I mean, well versed in both conventional and what they call functional medicine. So the other things you can do is you look at your LDH level. Is it elevated? You look at your ferritin to iron ratio. Is it 5 or higher? That would mean I would lean towards it. You can get a blood test done at the American Metabolic Labs. It's called the PHI, phosphohexoisomerase. That if that's elevated, if all of these things are elevated, and tumor markers, which are CA 15-3 and CA 27.29 are breast for the most part. If they're elevated LDH, you look at the fibrinogen and D dimer. I would also get a lymphocyte subset at Cyrex Labs. It's called lymphocyte map, MAP. And we put all that together and we can tell what's going on. And then, okay, so if we think that there's already there, then we'll be a little more aggressive with what? With vitamin C and other things to metabolically kill it, not toxically kill it. Okay, so when they use toxins to kill a tumor, those toxins are not specific, they're going all over the body. But when you're identifying a metabolic inadequacy in those tumors, they can't handle this situation, they can't handle that situation. So you put them in this situation. Healthy cells have that. They have the enzymes, they can take care of it. These CFCs don't have it, so they die. It's called metabolic therapies. You're killing them because they are not they're metabolically inadequate to survive that situation. But it wasn't a poison that was killing other cells, you see? So now getting a biopsy again. Remember, it's going to give you a name, which is supposedly going to direct the program that would be most effective for you. And it's just not true, because looking at the histological anatomy, describing it, ductal invasive ductal carcinoma, ductal carcinoma in situ, lobular carcinoma in situ. I mean, it's just telling you where it is and whether or not it went through the wall. I mean, it doesn't give you any information, right? But it means it directs, they're going to use this chemo, they're going to do surgery. It gives them the whole algorithm of things to do. So don't even get a name. If you don't have a name, they can't mess with you. They can't tell you what you should do. And it's not because it doesn't help you. Sure. Assume that it is these is CFCs and live accordingly, and it'll go away. And it's good to learn how to live that way anyway, because then they won't happen in the future unless you go hang out in Chernobyl or Fukushima. Okay, now, all right. So now let's look at but because remember the biopsy is gonna it literally spreads it. Let me quickly remind everyone, which I've said before. Well, a tumor anywhere when starting to it's microscopic. It's starting to grow right. Once it becomes and then there are. It's not just that one. There's like multiple little areas. So the one that predominates needs to grow, so it produces, internally produces chemicals that stimulate blood vessel growth. At the same time, it sends out inhibitory signs to all the other um, islands so that they cannot grow blood vessels. And meanwhile, they go down the lymphatics, they go down the blood vessels, and they wind up in the liver and the bone, or all over the body. But they've been turned off by this signaling from the primary one. The moment you biopsy it, that's gone. The moment you cut it out, that's gone. And all these other ones, islands, can now start to grow blood vessels, which will allow them to grow in size. And plus, having a name is going to scare you anyway. All right. I got to get to these. Hey, Alice, you've got a wonderful question here, Alice. I want to, oh my gosh. And then Lisa, you're next too. And Xavier, Henrietta, your father. Okay. We got, you know what, you guys, I hope you're in the group, right? You got to be in the CFC group. All right. Because we're going to talk about, you got some, lot of, complications and aspects to it. I want to do that. And this is Alice here again with her husband with prostate. And yeah, you're right. Iodine, pumpkin seeds, bee pollen, thyroid nodules, radiation. How do we reduce the damage from radiation? Uh, it seems like some of these questions were before, and I thought I answered that. But yeah, we should, from the PET scan, because you're having them regularly. Okay, well, how regularly? Anyway, there's so much to talk about, you guys. And then we didn't even talk about parasites or anything today. Anyway, listen, it's 9 o'clock here, 9 a.m. And I don't know what time it is in New York, Florida. 7 p.m. in Arizona. I just wish I could answer these. God, that's why we're doing these groups, okay? So that I can get into this stuff. Because here's one from Carolyn, and she's talking about erythropoietin, lymphocytes high. So yeah, so Carolyn, I hope you're in that group so we can talk about why. I mean, about your question here. Okay, and methylene. Oh my gosh! All right, you guys, I get into these groups. So let's get going so we can talk more in detail. Okay, Sawadee Kap, Kapamaka, Aloha, Namaste, Namaskar. Have a fantastic, incredible week, and remember, SEERS is not. It's gonna be a big deal. I don't know what they've done. I don't know what they're up to, but beware, be ready. And I think that's the going to be the scenario for 2025, you guys. So we got to get ready. We got to get ready, And remember, we are the elephant. If we do nothing, if we say nope, you can't push the elephant up the hill. You're not going to get up that hill. Okay? Just got to all say no, 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 no. Most important word you can learn: no, no, no. Imagine if we all said no. What's going to happen? What can you do? humanity. Yeah. I got to be careful. I don't know what censoring stuff is. So, but I hope I can get on a channel sometime where I can talk without feeling I have to censor. Anyway, come on the groups, you guys. Let's come on the groups. Okay, I'll see you. Wait, where is that one? There we go. So, what happened?